Have you ever noticed that the brightest minds often prefer the quietest corners? While the world celebrates the loud, the social, and the constantly connected, there is a rare group of people who find their greatest power in solitude. It's not because they are lonely. It's not because they are shy. It's because their minds operate on a different frequency. Today, we dive into the deep psychology of the lone wolf and why intelligence and solitude are two sides of the same coin. If you've ever felt like an outsider in a crowded room, this video is for you. Let's explore the 7 Stoic reasons why highly intelligent people choose to be alone. Reason 1: the protection of mental energy. The first and perhaps most vital reason highly intelligent individuals seek solitude is the sacred protection of their mental energy. In the modern world, we are living through an unprecedented crisis of noise. We are bombarded by a relentless stream of notifications, digital chatter, and the trivial opinions of thousands of strangers. To the average person, this is just life. But to the highly intelligent, this constant noise is a dangerous trap, a cognitive drain that leaches away the brain's most precious resource: focus. Think of your mental energy as a finite well of water. Every social interaction, every small talk about the weather, and every minute spent absorbing mindless entertainment is like taking a bucket of water out of that well. By the time the day is half over, most people have nothing left for deep thought, creativity, or self-reflection. They are running on empty. Psychologically, the human brain was never designed to be always on. It requires periods of absolute silence to engage in what scientists call consolidation, the process where the brain organizes information, connects complex ideas, and turns experiences into wisdom. Without silence, the brain is merely a recording device that never has the time to play back and understand what it has seen. As the famous Swiss psychologist Carl Jung once profoundly noted, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." This looking inside is impossible in a crowd. Intelligent people choose to be alone because they understand that solitude is the only laboratory where they can dissect their thoughts without the contamination of social pressure. They realize that to solve the world's most complex problems, or even the problems within their own lives, they must first unplug from the collective scream of society. They aren't avoiding people. They are auditing their energy. They understand that a mind that is constantly reacting to others is a mind that can never truly act for itself. In the sanctuary of silence, they find the clarity that the noisy world has lost. Reason 2: the depth of reflection, Stoic perspective. The second pillar of the intelligent mind's solitude is the pursuit of true, undisturbed reflection, a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. In our current era, modern noise is not just an annoyance. It is a sophisticated trap designed to keep us in a state of constant, shallow reaction. We are conditioned to respond to every ping, every headline, and every social trend instantly. This digital and social static creates a barrier between our conscious mind and our deeper wisdom. For the highly intelligent, breaking this trap is a matter of mental survival. The Stoics, like the great Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, understood that the human brain requires a sanctuary of silence to function at its highest level. In his personal journals, Aurelius famously wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He didn't mean that we should hide from the world, but that we must regularly retreat into the inner citadel of our minds to process the raw data of life. From a neurological standpoint, the brain needs silence to engage in what is known as deep processing. When we are constantly surrounded by the chatter of others, our working memory is overloaded. We become like a computer with too many tabs open. Eventually, the system slows down and meaningful thought becomes impossible. It is only in the vacuum of solitude that the brain can begin the heavy lifting of synthesizing information, connecting distant ideas, and identifying the patterns that others miss. The renowned psychologist William James once observed that the art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. Intelligent people choose solitude because it allows them to overlook the trivialities of the crowd and focus on the eternal truths within. They recognize that a life lived entirely in public is a life lived on the surface. To dive deep, one must go alone. By choosing to be alone, they are not fleeing from reality. They are facing it with a clearer lens. They use silence as a filter to separate the signal from the noise. In this deep reflection, they find the answers to questions that the noisy world hasn't even thought to ask. They understand that while the crowd is busy talking, the wise are busy becoming. Reason 3. Quality over quantity in relationships. The third reason highly intelligent individuals embrace solitude is their uncompromising stance on the quality of their human connections. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and the sheer number of friends on a list, the intelligent mind recognizes a profound truth. Modern social noise is a trap. We are often pressured to maintain a wide, shallow net of relationships that offer plenty of distraction but very little substance. For the wise, this is not just a waste of time. It is a dilution of the soul. Think of human connection as a frequency. If you are constantly surrounded by the static of 100 different voices, you can never truly tune into the deep, resonant melody of a single, meaningful soul. Intelligent people don't seek to be known by everyone. They seek to be understood by a few. They understand that the brain requires silence and focused attention to truly process the complex information shared in a real relationship. When we are caught in the quantity trap, we are forced to keep every conversation at the surface level. We talk about the weather, the latest trends, or the scandals of the day, never touching the profound questions of existence, purpose, or growth. Neurologically, deep bonding requires a level of intimacy and presence that a crowd simply cannot provide. By choosing to be alone rather than in bad company, the intelligent person is keeping their inner space vacant for the right person. They would rather wait years for a single friend who challenges their intellect than spend a single night entertaining a room full of people who don't even know their true self. As the legendary psychologist Abraham Maslow noted in his studies of self-actualized individuals, they have, for the most part, few close friends rather than many superficial ones. Maslow realized that those at the peak of human potential don't need the constant validation of a large group. Their confidence comes from within, allowing them to be incredibly selective. Choosing quality over quantity is an act of self-respect. It is the realization that your time is the only currency you can never earn back. By retreating into solitude, the intelligent person isn't becoming a hermit. They are becoming a connoisseur of human connection. They are waiting for the signal in a world of noise, knowing that one true conversation is worth 1,000 empty greetings. Reason 4. Observation over participation. The fourth reason highly intelligent people gravitate toward solitude is their preference for observation over participation. In our modern world, we are constantly nudged to be part of the action. We are told that to be relevant, we must be in the middle of the crowd, speaking the loudest and reacting the fastest. But this constant participation is a sophisticated trap. When you are a player on the field, your vision is limited to what is immediately in front of you. You are caught in the noise, the emotion, and the frantic pace of the game. It is only by stepping into the quiet of the sidelines that you can truly see the whole field. The intelligent mind understands that participation often requires a compromise of perspective. Modern social noise acts as a fog. It obscures the truth by forcing us to focus on the now, the immediate drama, the fleeting trend, or the emotional outburst. To cut through this fog, the brain needs the absolute silence of observation. It is a biological necessity. When the external world is silenced, the brain's executive function can finally begin to process the massive amounts of information it has gathered. It begins to see patterns, subtle behaviors, and hidden motives that those in the middle of the crowd completely miss. While others are busy performing for an audience, the observer is busy studying the audience itself. They are the silent witnesses to the human comedy. By choosing to stand apart, they are able to maintain an objective distance. This distance is where true wisdom is born. You cannot understand a storm while you are being tossed around by its waves. You understand it by watching it from the shore. As the legendary social psychologist Leon Festinger, famous for his theory of cognitive dissonance, once implied, humans have a deep-seated drive to evaluate their opinions and abilities by comparing themselves to others. But for the highly intelligent, this constant social comparison is a distraction from the truth. They don't want to compare. They want to comprehend. Choosing observation over participation is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of clarity. It is the realization that you can learn more from an hour of quiet watching than from a lifetime of mindless talking. In the silence of the observer, the world reveals its secrets. They understand that while the world is busy shouting, the truth is often found in a whisper that only the solitary can hear. Reason 5. Freedom from social scripts. The fifth reason highly intelligent individuals retreat into solitude is to achieve true freedom from social scripts. From the moment we are born, society hands us a pre-written manual on how to live, what to value, and how to define success. These social scripts are invisible chains that dictate our career choices, our lifestyle, and even our most private beliefs. In our hyper-connected era, modern noise has become a sophisticated trap that reinforces these scripts every single second. Through social media algorithms and constant peer pressure, the crowd screams at us to conform, to fit in, and to follow the herd without question. For the highly intelligent, this constant pressure is a form of cognitive imprisonment. They understand that to discover who they truly are, they must first silence the voices of who everyone else wants them to be. This is where the brain's need for silence becomes a biological necessity. To process complex information about one's own identity and moral compass, the brain requires a state of autonomy, a period where it is not being bombarded by external expectations or the need for social validation. In the laboratory of solitude, the mind can finally begin to deconstruct these social scripts. It asks the dangerous questions. Do I actually believe this, or was I told to believe it? Is this path truly mine, or am I just walking in someone else's shadow? Solitude provides the emotional and intellectual distance needed to tear up the pre-written script and start writing a new one. It allows the individual to align their actions with their true internal values rather than the temporary trends of the masses. As the pioneering psychologist Carl Rogers, a founder of the humanistic approach, once profoundly stated, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." This radical self-acceptance and self-actualization are impossible when you are constantly performing for an audience or trying to satisfy a social script. By stepping away, intelligent people are not rejecting society. They are rejecting the mask they are forced to wear within it. They choose to be alone so they can return to the world as their authentic selves, unburdened by the scripts of the mediocre. They realize that a life lived by someone else's rules is not a life lived at all. It is merely an imitation. In the silence of their own company, they find the courage to define their own destiny. Reason 6. The pursuit of mastery. The sixth reason highly intelligent people choose solitude is their relentless pursuit of mastery. In today's hyper-connected world, modern noise is a dangerous trap that lures us into a state of permanent distraction. We are tricked into thinking that being busy is the same as being productive, and that skimming the surface of many topics is the same as understanding one. But true mastery is a jealous mistress. It demands undivided attention and long stretches of silence. The human brain requires an immense amount of quiet to enter what psychologists call deep work. During these periods, the brain isn't just taking in information, it is restructuring its neural pathways to solve complex problems and create original work. This process is fragile. A single notification, a trivial question from a coworker, or the background hum of a crowded room can shatter the focus needed for high-level cognitive performance. Intelligent people realize that if they want to build something that lasts, whether it's a business, a piece of art, or a scientific breakthrough, they must exile themselves from the noise. Solitude is the laboratory of the great. It is the only place where the mind is free to experiment, fail, and eventually master its craft without the fear of judgment or the distraction of the mundane. As the famous Hungarian-American psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the father of the flow theory, once noted, "Great creative individuals are often characterized by a strong need for solitude." He understood that the state of flow, where time disappears and your skills are pushed to their limit, can rarely be achieved in a crowd. By choosing to be alone, the intelligent person is making a trade. They are giving up the temporary pleasure of social comfort for the eternal satisfaction of mastery. Reason 7. Emotional independence. The final reason highly intelligent people prefer their own company is the development of profound emotional independence. Most people are trapped in a cycle of seeking external validation. Their happiness is a roller coaster that depends on the opinions, praise, and attention of others. This is the ultimate modern noise trap, a digital echo chamber that makes us slaves to likes and social approval. Highly intelligent people have learned to cut these strings. They understand that if your peace of mind depends on someone else, you are not a free person. You are a hostage. The brain needs silence and isolation to build its own internal support system. In solitude, they learn to face their own shadows, process their own traumas, and celebrate their own victories without needing an audience. This emotional self-sufficiency is a superpower. It means they can enter a room without needing to be the center of attention, and they can leave a room without feeling a void. As the renowned psychologist Abraham Maslow pointed out in his research on self-actualizing people, they have a quality of detachment and a need for privacy. They can be solitary without being lonely. The conclusion. The call to wisdom. As we reach the end of this journey, we must confront a difficult truth. The modern world is not designed for your brilliance. It is designed for your distraction. This relentless modern noise, the digital pings, the social pressures, and the constant need for more, is a sophisticated trap. It is a cage built of glass and gold that keeps your mind running in circles, preventing you from ever reaching the depths of your true potential. As we have explored, the highly intelligent do not choose solitude because they hate people. They choose it because they love the truth. They understand a fundamental biological reality. The brain needs silence to process information, to heal from the chaos of the day, and to transform raw data into profound wisdom. Without these quiet intervals, your life is merely a series of reactions to external triggers. You become a passenger in your own mind. But you have a choice. You can choose to step out of the trap. You don't need to move to a cabin in the woods to find this silence. You simply need to build an inner citadel, a mental space where the world's noise cannot reach you. This is the path to emotional independence, to mastery, and to a life lived by your own script. The world will tell you that being alone is a sign of weakness or loneliness. Do not believe it. As the visionary psychologist Erik Erikson, who mapped the stages of human development, once suggested, the ultimate goal of maturity is the achievement of ego integrity, the ability to look back on one's life and see it as a meaningful, unified whole. This integrity is born in the quiet moments of self-reflection, far away from the judging eyes of the crowd. So, here is my challenge to you. Tonight, turn off the notifications, step away from the digital chatter, spend 30 minutes in absolute silence. Do not reach for your phone or a book. Simply sit with your own thoughts. At first, the silence may feel heavy, even uncomfortable. But if you stay there, you will begin to hear a voice that has been drowned out for a long time. Your own. If you found value in this exploration of the silent mind, subscribe to join our community of thinkers. Share this video with someone who feels out of place in this noisy world. Remember, in a world that never stops talking, the most revolutionary act you can perform is to listen to yourself. Until next time, stay wise and stay silent.